2017 data. I'm here to lessons I learning how to support your teams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about process for success. I think you understand that we have a goal, and we need to understand that we need to have a process to achieve that goal. Sometimes people have a process, but they don't understand where that process leads to. And some people have a goal, but they have no idea what kind of process they need to build to make sure that they're able to achieve their goal. So today I will share more exactly what we need to consider, how to create a process that actually allows us to really move, improve, get better. Because one process will not solve everything. We need to understand that when you achieve a milestone, you need to have one process, then you're able to adjust, build another process. And there is a lot of times we need to keep adjusting our process just to achieve better and better and better results. So let's look into what we need to do to really create the best process for ourselves. So number one is that we need to understand that there will be some kind of vision, purpose, meaning, goal setting. Those are very, very important. So that means that we need to really define what success means. That vision. What is success for you? Not for Mary, not for anyone, but for you. What is the success for you? And then, of course, when you define success, at that moment, of course, what kind of process do I need to achieve this success? Second thing that is that when we have that vision, we need to understand that we need to really set goals that will allow us to achieve that vision. So the vision at first. Second, we need to look into what kind of goals will allow to achieve us that vision. And of course, break it down to process that will allow to achieve those goals. Because a lot of times I think that we want to create processes, but it's very hard to create process to achieve the vision. That's why we need to break it down to make sure that it's easier to create processes for smaller things than bigger things. Second thing that you need to think about is really planning and strategy development. So that means we need really have that goal, then we can break it down even to smaller goals, even to milestones. And of course, we can really develop the strategy how to achieve this milestone. When you have a strategy, we're able to say, what kind of tactics do we able to use? Because we're able to really have a massive strategy and then break it down to smaller tactics to really achieve that. I think it's always a lot of times when people really try to grab too big of the bite, they are not able to move forward. And that's a lot of times demotivating. And being able to have a big vision, but very, very small tactics, and adjusting those tactics and creating those processes for that small thing, it's much, much easier because you're able to adjust. And it's very, very important to really prioritize tasks, prioritize those tactics over the vision. So it means we always need to really break down. We have vision, goals, then we have a strategy, then we have tactics, and we're really able to really look into how we're able to start from small details. But all those details need to align with a bigger vision. And of course, that is much easier to really create the process for a small thing than a massive thing. Number three is execution and action. So that means we need to really understand, okay, what kind of routines, what kind of habits do we need to build in that process? That means that when it doesn't matter how you feel, it doesn't matter how you feel, you're able to execute based on your routines, you're able to execute based on your habits. Because sometimes people expect they will get motivation and always will do the right thing. No, you fall onto your process, you fall onto your routine, you fall onto your habits, and that is very, very important to develop. At the same time, we need to really understand how we manage our time. Because if you have a process but you don't manage your time well, that means you will not have time to do your process. So time management is essential in achieving your vision because process needs to have time allocation. At the same time, you potentially could know your process. But if you know your process but you're not focused, again, you will not have ability to execute on your process. So stay focused is very essential in really managing your process, because it might be that you create a process, but are you keep doing the process? That is very, very important. So then number 4 is monitoring and adjustment. So that means that you need to track the progress. What is not measured, it doesn't get improved. What is not measured doesn't get improved. So that means you need to monitor. What means that it might be that you created process, but it might be that that process is not established in the highest possible position yet. We're able to adjust, pivot, shift, change, improve, get better. So that means that the process is not for forever. That's for a season. So that means you need to look at it. What do I need to change? What do I need to adjust? And that's very, very important regarding the process. Process is not something stiff. It's flexible, adjustable. It's very moldable, very important. And be able to adjust plans. Because sometimes when you do the process, based on your experience, you know much, much more than before. Because during planning, you didn't know a lot of things, but now you execute. You know much, much more. And based on that new knowledge, you're able to adjust even more to find out what is the best process. We don't need to attach to one way. It is very, very important to be able to adjust. Number 5 is feedback and learning. So that means we need to really seek feedback. You have a process, you're able to explain to people who are very credible and ask, do you feel that this process will lead to my goal? What do you feel if I will keep doing this specific process? What do you feel? What kind of results I will get? And of course, if a person has credibility in that field, we'll be able to give a really great feedback. Of course, at the same time, we're able to really learn by ourselves. We're able to give ourselves feedback. Look into what kind of experience you get from the process and say, do I get exactly the same results? Do I get improved? What do I get out of this process? Where that leads to. And I think that we need to understand that we need to continuously improve based on our feedback as well. Number 6 is motivation, inspiration, aspiration, perseverance. All those resilience, all those words are very important. So we need to understand how we're able to really stay ourselves motivated. Motivation is a great thing, but of course we understand that when motivation means off, self-discipline kicks in. But if you're able to work very hard to create process in place that you are always motivated. Now, we understand that you're still doing the things when you don't have motivation, but motivation really gives even sometimes more energy to execute in the highest level. So motivation is very important. And regularly do the activities that keeps your motivation. And that's why what we need to do, we need to celebrate milestones, celebrate successes, celebrate improvements, celebrate things that moves you forward, celebrate needle-moving activities. And when you're able to celebrate, of course, we increase our motivation. That's why it's very important to have those tasks as small as possible, because every single achievement, every single progress needs to be celebrated. And of course, that's how you elevate your energy and motivation. And of course, at that moment, it's much, much easier to persevere and be resilient when you really look into how to get positivity. Number 7 is reflection and reevaluation. So that means that we're able to say, okay, so what kind of outcomes do I get from this process? What kind of outcomes do I want it to get? And be able to say, okay, I achieved my outcome. I achieved my result. Now that means that this process that allowed me to achieve my outcome might be that it will not serve me again. Because it allowed me to achieve here, but it means that this process will keep me in this outcome. I want different outcome now. I want better outcome. So what do I need to shift in my process to achieve another outcome? Better result. Because what process led to one outcome, it might be it will not lead to another outcome. It's very, very important to change something in your routine, in your process, just to get to another level. And that's something is I think that we need to always reassessing what's on a goal, because it could be a short-term goal that you achieved. Now maybe look into, okay, what kind of long-term goal do I need to pursue now? What kind of process I need to realign myself? And really sometimes we need to understand that our perspectives changes, our goals changes, our wisdom changes, everything changes. And because of that, we need to really evaluate if this process still leads where we want to go. Because if you change goal, that means the process most likely will be changed as well because of that. So go that you will ask yourself, how many processes do you have in your life? Because we understand that we're supposed to have about 7-8 processes at least in our lives. Process for your health, for emotional health, for mental health, for your finances, for relationships. There's a lot of things that we're supposed to build some processes. We're not supposed to be like that everything needs to be processed. But a lot of times when you really want to really develop something, those processes are essential to really achieve those results in a much faster pace. So I hope that you reflect on your processes and adjust your process just to make sure that you're able to achieve your vision, your purpose, your meaning, your goal, whatever that might be. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.